Run Your Story family, this is Allison Gilliard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And what an inspirational, incredible story we have with Coach Valerie Guy. Woohoo! She's amazing, and I absolutely love getting to know her. We got introduced through Candy from Magnolia Soap Company, and she said, this is who I want for you to sit down and share her story. And when your partner for that month says something, you say, yes, ma'am. And I'm so thankful that Candy introduced us, and absolutely love Coach Guy. She's absolutely amazing, and her story is incredible. And how she became a coach is super fun. So you guys are gonna love her so much. And fun fact, when we got done with the interview, I actually had to run by Magnolia Soap Company to pick up a few things to replenish my house, and did that, and then in walks Coach Guy. Super fun. And so we did a little shopping together. So that was really, really fun. But in all honesty, you guys are going to love Coach Guy. And one of the things that I admire about her is that her running community are her athletes at Davidson. I just think that is the coolest thing, and what an amazing human being these athletes have to look up to and to encourage them and to keep them on the pavement. And as she challenges them just to give it one more try, that's just absolutely amazing. And she shares her story with them at the beginning of every season, which I think is incredible. And that is that our bodies are capable of more than we know. And her story is so much of that, and just a beautiful reminder. And so, Coach Guy, thank you for what you're doing for this running community. Thank you for what you're doing at Davidson. And thank you for sharing your story. You are absolutely incredible, my friend. And again, huge shout out to Magnolia Soap Company and Candy for putting this all together, for being our podcast partner of the month, and believing in not only Coach Guy's Run Your Story, but also our running community stories. And Candy at Magnolia, she absolutely loves this podcast. And so it's so cool to partner together with a business that we believe in. And I fully believe in Magnolia Soap Company, from the soap to the deodorant to the sunscreen. Cannot say enough great things about the sunscreen. Laundry detergent, you name it. If it's Magnolia Soap Company and we can use it at the Gilliard house, we do, because we believe in having the cleanest products possible, and you get that at Magnolia Soap Company. Guys, Candy is a local girl. She grew up here, and she decided to bring Magnolia Soap Company here to where we as a community could have access to plant-based products. And the cool thing is, everything's made there in the store, and you get to go pick your scent. That's what's so cool as well. My favorite scent is Magnolia. So in case anyone's listening, Allie really likes Magnolia soap with the Magnolia scent. It's absolutely amazing. You guys can also shop online and also have store pickup. You can also host parties where you can make your own stuff. Super excited about the party that we're hosting. It's going to be epic. And you can find them at 4504 Old Shell Road. Love the store if you've not been. Great for all skin types. I'm super sensitive. I'm also very pale. And so, again, the sunscreen, the lotions, everything works so great. They also have an amazing men's line. Spoiler alert, that's what Gray will be getting for Father's Day. So we love, love, love Magnolia Soap Company. So guys, go check them out. Social media. You can also check them out online at Magnolia Soap Company Mobile. So thank you again for supporting this podcast, believing in us, and partnering with us, Candy and the team at Magnolia Soap Company. All right, guys, go lace up those running shoes, get ready, get set, and go run with my friend Coach Guy and her run story. Thank you so much, Valerie, for being here.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so excited. I got your name from Candy from Magnolia Soap Company, who's our podcast partner this month. And I'm excited because I know nothing about you at all. But from the times we've been chatting, I'm like, she sounds amazing. So
Thank you. And Candy is amazing. And Magnolia Soap is amazing. I just have to say that. I didn't get to go in the store this past time, so I ordered and got it sent to my house and got my whole shipment. And I was like a kid in a candy store. It was amazing.
It's so bad. I'm actually, after this interview, going by there. Right. And I was like, oh, what don't I buy today? So, Valerie, what is your run story?
Okay, so I've been listening to some of the podcasts, and I'm so excited listening. And all the stories are so different, but they all seem to have that same beginning where everyone started running when they were young, and I did not. That's the biggest thing. I don't have an athletic background. I did try out for track in middle school. I didn't make it.
Okay.
But I think I think, to be fair, I didn't make it because I was trying out for a boy and not really to be running.
Okay.
And I don't know that any of us in our family are athletic. We didn't really have the money or transportation to do any extracurriculars. And so that just wasn't a part of growing up, which was perfectly fine. And then I did the full jump into college and then jump into marriage and a divorce and another marriage and another divorce. And life happened a bunch. 2 kids along the way. I have Grant and Eli. And swore off men and marriage and everything else. And then I met Justin. And my husband, we've been together 15 years now, but I met him in 2008, and he changed a lot of my life, and activity was one of those things. So he taught me some things. Running didn't come at first. He taught me to bass fish, which I'd never done.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
That was fun. Got me on a mountain bike, which I never graduated from the South Trails. I tried a mountain once and was terrified. So no, but I did like being on the bike. And then, unfortunately, I was a smoker. And then in 2015, I had to quit. I knew I had to quit. And in order to quit, I had to replace it with something else. And so we tried running. And we started with the Couch to 5K. And Justin had been an athlete.
Okay.
He had done some running and stuff in the past. So it was a lot easier for him. My kids got on board. We all just ran together. And I couldn't run for more than 30 seconds when I started. I had the smoker's launch.
Sure.
And we kept trying. So that moved along. And I did my first race. I think back on that first race, it was when they did the Do It in the Bush, but it was at the Glen Sebastian Nature Trail.
Okay.
South. And I remember how difficult that was. And there was a race walker, and he passed me. And I was so upset about it, but I understood. I was like, this is hard. This is real. I think it took me like 41 minutes to run a 5K. And then we kept on, and I never did a whole bunch. But then my son, it was the summer after that Do It in the Bush run, and he was trying out for basketball. He was about to be a freshman in high school. And his coach had his boys running cross country. And so we were like, yeah, that's a really good idea. We should probably run cross country. Let's do that. And he had tried a lot of different sports. He wasn't great at basketball, but I think he loved it more than anything else. But when he started running, really good at it. And his basketball coach told him, this is probably what you should be doing.
Wow.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
And he finished his cross country season. I was teaching at the same school where I was teaching at Bryant.
Okay.
He was running for Bryant. And we moved from basketball season, and then a track coach approached me and was like, hey, your son's finished with basketball. He should probably do track. I'm like, okay, sure, let's do that. So he did, and I'd never been to a track meet in my life. I'd never been to one track meet. I find that really weird. But I went to, it was his second track meet. I couldn't go to his first, and I was the second one of at St. Paul's. It was the St. Paul's relay. And I remember watching, and I asked the coach why certain kids ran certain events. The 4x16 was one of them. And then the 4x4 and things seemed to be crisscrossed a little bit, and I didn't understand. And one of the coaches, he said to me, he was just like, our wellness guy, you're more than welcome to come help us coach if you would like. And that was his response. And I think it was a genuine response, but I wasn't sure. And my son said, don't tell her that unless you mean it. And I showed up the next Sunday, and I've been coaching ever since.
Wow.
And that's when more running started. Okay, so once I had a group of kids, then I was responsible for that group of kids. And what I learned early on with running, and especially teenagers who aren't necessarily talented right away, if you're not in their vicinity, they stop. They stop at wall more than they should. I know you should stop at wall sometimes, especially if you're not really good at running. So I started running with them. And that's when running became a whole lot easier. So you find your people, you find your running group. And so my new group each year, that's my running group. And so it didn't make sense. And then it all made sense. And I was nervous. And so we did that. And I got through a track season, which was a lot of fun. And then they approached me at school and said, hey, how about coaching cross country? Because the cross country coach at the time, It's tough to get running coaches in public school.
Sure.
So they find other people willing to do it. But the head baseball coach was coaching cross country at the time, and that's normally the season for fundraising and whatnot. Sarah was like, I don't know how to do that. And they're like, yes, you do. And we'll help you. So we did. And my husband helped a lot. He still writes a lot of the training, and I tweak it because I understand teenagers and I'm with them every day. We started doing that and then running more as a family. I got to coach both my kids. Now, my youngest son, he's still in high school. He's a junior. We're at Davidson now, but he was forced to run with us. It's after school. He's with me. I'm coaching. He burned out a little bit after ninth grade, but that was the beginning of running. And then all of the cool races that were around here, it wasn't just, okay, let me go enter this race now. It was, hey guys, in case your parents want to come race, if they want to enter you in a race, hey, here's this race that's happening. And so then we started running a lot more of the local races too, which is fun. Not clearly as a team, that's against the rules, but letting them know, and they do, they all show up. And it's a tough community. There's not really a good place to run.
Sure.
We had our practice, it was dogs loose and things like that, and a group of kids you're trying to keep safe. We had one neighborhood safe harbor we were able to run to, which was awesome for workouts because it's a complete mile around the whole neighborhood. That's all we had there. And along with force flies and everything else.
The no-see-ums that are down there. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's such a neat group when it was at Bryant and having my son Grant there. My second year coaching them, Grant's junior year, my boys team went to state. And that was just really eye-opening. And look what we could do with some consistency. Someone who can run with them, will teach them things, will research, and mainly just do things with them. Don't let them stop.
Yeah.
And that means we're doing night runs. We do whatever is fun for teenagers at the time to keep them interested. So I hated leaving when I left Bryant, but I had to go to Davidson for my other son. I needed him in the IB program. To get there, I had to teach there. Thought my coaching career was over. Thought, hey, I'll start training on my own now and see what I can actually do. And then got in touch with the principal. He told me he had a spot for me, and one of those spots is coaching cross country. So I was happy and sad at the same time at first. I was like, oh, I had already resigned myself to not going to coach. Maybe it wasn't for me, and I'm going to focus on training and see what I can actually do for myself. But man, got into Davidson, and my group has grown every year, and they are amazing. And so I don't get to train. I don't use the word train for myself. I use it for them. I get to run a lot in summer with them because when they're building their miles, I run with the very new kids. And what's really cool about that is I get to take these kids who think they can't run. I get to tell them when I started, I couldn't run more than 30 seconds. I get to have them with me. And then by the next year, they're much faster than I am. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I get to watch them move on, and then I grab the next group. And so that's how my running goes. And then we go straight into track season. And I'm head track coach as well, one of two. And so many moving parts to a track season that my group then, they know all the routes themselves. They don't necessarily have to have me on all of those runs. And so I focus on other things. And on their speed day, that's where all my attention is. So their easy days, I get to look after some other kids. So I never get to train year round. I start over every spring break. I'm in the starting over phase right now. But I actually really love it. That is how I went from a 35-year-old smoker to a 44-year-old cross-country track coach who loves running with a jilted year every year. So it's a lot of fun.
I love that so much because you are impacting future running. You are keeping the sport going. And like you said, introducing kids that thought, I can't do this. And then to hear your story and be like, wow, that's so impactful. Oh, I love that.
And so much fun. Some of these kids come out the first day of summer training and it's so hot. That's coming up. We'll start June 10th this year. And I've heard kids say to me, I can't do this. I will not come back. I do because the group is so much fun. And they like the social aspect. And then the running gets easier.
Because you're with your people.
You're with your people.
I love that. Obviously, you have some lessons
I do.
that you learned from running, and I'm sure that you share with your runners.
Yeah.
So what are some of those?
One of the biggest things is that my body is capable of so much more than I realized. I would have never guessed. I went from not being able to run at all to my longest run without stopping was not this past year, but the year before, the Mobile Path. And I wasn't fast at all, but I was able to go for the whole 2 hours and 10 minutes or whatever it was to run the half. And it's amazing what your body can do if you train it to do that, if you're consistent with it. That's one of the big lessons. And then the one that goes hand in hand with that is if you quit running, it is difficult to restart. It is so much harder to gain fitness and so quick to lose it.
Yeah.
You go more than 2 weeks without running and then you can feel it. Your whole body is just heavy and your legs are like concrete. You're like, well, maybe I won't get up and do this today. So my kids are all on a break right now. They just finished state. And they have a solid week off. Clearly, some of them might need more than a week. But like I had one of my girls, my legs don't know what to do. I'm used to running. I said, go for a run. We're just not going to train.
Yeah.
So she, like some kids will have to run. She just went out and did a 2-mile run and felt a little bit better.
Sure.
And some people can't take a whole week off. But your body, it will come back. It's slow. Coming back if you take too long. That's the biggest lesson I learn every year.
You're like, oh, this is what this feels like again.
It is difficult.
What has been your favorite race, whether it's for you personally or if it's with your team? What is your favorite race?
So my favorite race for myself was one that I didn't think I could do. I love to hike. Hiking is so much fun, and we've been out and out in a bunch. That's always great. My husband, it was in 2021, we were talking about doing the Ridge to Blazing Ridge. And one loop is 10 miles. Clearly, I was crazy enough to sign up for the two. He was a lot more fit than me, though. And so I had run the whole summer because I was with my new training group, Davidson. And I had a big group, and it was so much fun. And so I had a decent building stage, the phase of just building all my miles. And I felt really good, and my body felt strong. And went to Oak Mountain, and we stayed the night and got up and ready for the race. And they said they would have an aid station, and they did. There wasn't a bathroom, so that was weird. And I guess it's not weird at Oak Mountain. You're not going to drag a porta potty. But I was expecting an aid station halfway in, and it was more like 6 miles. So I did struggle a bit there, but I had 2 handhelds with me. One just water, one with tailwind in it, which was very helpful. It was August. It was hot. A lot of climbing. A lot of stopping and letting my heart rate get back to normal.
Sure.
I had a couple of goos on me. And other than that, I just felt good. I mean, my bladder was full at one point, and that was not comfortable. But other than that, I had music with me just in case I needed it, but I didn't. And it was just, there were people around me, but not with me. But there was always someone, and you could hear their struggles or hear their conversation. It was really good. And I finished right at 3 hours, which I was pleased. Now, the second half of it wasn't fun because I was waiting on my husband, who his fitness level, he should have been the second or third coming in that 20-miler. So by the 5th, the 7th, the 10th person that came through, I got really worried. He, stupidly, did not take enough to hydrate. And he was not in good shape when he came across that finish line. And so I didn't know if I was going to have to take him to the hospital.
Sure.
We didn't. We got him cooled off, got him some stuff in his system. You asked me what death looked like. He looked like death.
Wow.
It scared me because he was the strongest athlete I had been around. You know, so that was tough to see. So we learned some good lessons from that.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was my best race. Don't be raining on my parade. Like, I'm ready. I want to celebrate. I was excited. I felt strong, and I like when I feel strong. Good. Haven't done it again.
Is there a pre-race routine that you have?
Pre-race routine. I warm up a mile because I think that's what I need to do. My body still warms up as I run. I take a really long warm up. So racing for me, because I'm not fast, I don't really care that I'm still warming up in that first mile.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to be able to take off like my athletes do or
Sure.
anything like that. But I do the warm up mainly because I'm always with some of my kids. But I do this thing, I don't think I've ever said it out loud, where I look at all the people on the start line, and clearly I go way in the back of the start because I'm slow. But I look at them and I look at how confident they look, and I try to absorb that a little bit. And so maybe I can feel what they look like they're feeling. I don't know if they're feeling confident or not, but they look like they are. And so I've never said that. I thought about that question. That is, every time I walk out there, I look at those guys and I'm incredible. They're ready to go. And I think about that when I look at my athletes. It's a fun, I know some of them are nervous, but when they step up to that line, they do not look nervous. They look confident and they are waiting, and the gun goes off, and there they go. I want to feel that way.
There's a saying that a very dear friend of mine, Kristen Rather, she hates it, but it's so funny, and it's you fake it till you make it.
Yes.
So you fake that confidence. Because I think the same thing. I'm like, how are they so? But yeah, she's don't be saying that. You have it. You know, and you're like, okay.
I should just keep smiling and tell yourself you're there. Maybe someone else is looking at you.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Shaking his
Yeah.
okay.
Let's talk about you crossed the finish line. And what is that celebration, recovery? What does that look like for you?
Food.
Okay.
Always something which, when I was growing up, my parents said I was a human garbage disposal. I have to have food, a lot. When I say that I like to feel strong, I know that when I start running again, I'm running so much that I'm hungry all the time. So I always gain weight at the beginning of my spring break when I'm starting to run again. In any race, whether it's a 5K, 10K, I've done a 10 mile and a half, it doesn't matter. When I finish, I want food. And then I want to walk around and discuss with Justin, with my husband, because he'll listen to all of the things that I say. He'll give me his feedback, give some insight. And it's really nice just to hash that out. But food.
Oh, hey, that's great. Is there a certain thing that you're like, I want this?
Let's look at orange.
Oh, okay.
Afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. And if I can, I know they have bananas everywhere. I'll have a banana before I race, but I like an orange afterwards. And then a whole bunch of food after that. But the very first thing, something to drink and an orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. Okay. What is Coach's Guy's absolutely favorite running item? Like you will not go around without this item.
It took me so long to find it. And once I had it, I had to have more of them so I could always have one on me. It's my sports bra because it's the rabbit brand.
Okay.
Sports bra with the phone pocket in the back.
Okay.
So I've tried belts. I've tried running with my phone in my leggings, in my tights. At one of the Turkey 10K thing, I was actually doing really well in that race too, and I accidentally called 911 because my sweat and the whatever.
No.
Yes. And so I saw my phone was ringing because they call you back. There's no one on the line. And so I ignored the call.
Yeah.
And I was feeling good. And I was running this 10K and I was so excited about it. And they keep calling back because they have to know that someone's okay. And so I answered. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I accidentally called 911, but I'm doing really well at night.
They're like, you're not running for your life, right? It's good.
I was like, no, this is a 10K. I'm doing great. I did get first in my age group at that one, but that was because all the other women were running the 10 milers that day. My husband reminds me that I got first in that race. I was like, they were all running the 10
miler. Hey, you got first. That's what matters. Wow.
And I was like, I need something where I have to put it in a bag, but it goes right in my bag. And so I have so many of those sports bras because they're perfect. I'm always running with athletes. If something goes wrong, especially in the heat, I need to always have my phone.
Sure.
The belts weren't very comfortable for me. I would give one and it would work great for a while, but now I'm found off. So the rabbit sports bra.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Running shoes. What are you running, Coach?
I'm running the Saucony Tempest. I have to have a bit of support.
Okay.
Took a while to figure that out. And that's where Justin comes into. He's like a shoe guru. I don't know how he has had every pair of running shoes. And once I find something that works, I try to stick with it until they stop selling it. And then I do something else. So I probably run through 4 pairs of Tempest.
Wow. And that's a newer shoe.
Yes.
That Saucony really.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much. I love them so much. You get the new pairing that feels so bouncy.
Right. Let's talk about, you mentioned tailwind. Is there something for your longer runs or during the summer that you feel?
And I've not really run super long. Besides that big mountain thing where I felt like I needed a bunch, but the tailwind tastes, to me, it tastes so gross, but it works so well. So that I always keep a goo with me, because again, I get empty feeling very quickly. And if that happens, just a quick goo and I feel good to go. And a shot of caffeine with it. That's the hardest thing, getting my athletes to understand. They think it's some type of badge of honor to run in the heat without water. It's a training process. It's getting it in their head. I always have water with me for the end of the race. And then last summer was so hot that I also have to map out our routes and put water halfway through. But for the athletes, the varsity runners who are strong enough to do those long runs, we meet on Saturday mornings for a long run. I'm teaching them to carry a handheld. They don't want to. And I don't know what that is. They're hard. Look what I said. That's not something to brag about.
Yeah.
Because had you had the water and something in it, probably you would have even felt better on your line. So dealing with that end of things, the teenagers, can be really difficult. I want them to understand how to take care of their bodies. Some of them are scared to have anything with them, but I have one of my girls going off into the Air Force, and she is tough. But getting her to learn to take things with her on her longer run, because she would go and just bust out a 20-mile run, understanding that you have to refuel something. Yeah. I know it's good for my body, but telling them and letting it sink in, that's the harder thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned headphones. Do you listen to music when you run?
So I listen to a lot of different things. Well, normally I'm with other people, so I don't listen to anything. And then every year, her husband helps me get restarted in my running again. So right now I'm running with him, and he runs with both dogs tethered to him, talking with him. But when I'm by myself, if I'm comfortable and I've been running again for a while, I do like music. I like a book. I listen to a book.
Okay.
Like podcasts, anything like that. But if I'm uncomfortable and I'm by myself and I'm not really feeling it and I might give up, I'll listen to my son's playlist. Because I don't really know all the songs on there. So when it pops up, I can't tell you how long the song's going to last, because I do this thing in my head where I count how long a song will last. I've been trying to say, okay, I have this much more running to do if I can make it through this song. But a playlist where I don't know the song, I can't do that. And then I can just settle in.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Also, I did a workout. I don't do very many workouts, but I did a speed workout one time. And I remember Rage Against the Machine was one of the last things that popped up while I was finishing on the track. Yes. I needed someone yelling at me today. It's good.
That's absolutely fantastic. Recovery tool. Do you have a favorite one?
I don't. Okay. But I thought about it, because I think I should have one. I think it should be a massage. It's Teacher Appreciation Week this week. And so one of our things they did for us is they brought in these massage therapists for 10 minutes, like little neck and shoulder massages.
Yeah.
10 minutes. And I was like rejuvenated. So I think I should probably add a massage as a recovery tool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're like, that's recovery right here. I can get a nice little rest done.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
But no, I don't.
Okay. I like it. But you will.
I will.
You will.
Yes.
Massage.
Right.
I like it. You mentioned you get to do a little bit of cross training. Is there something that you like to do for cross training?
I don't do anything consistently, unfortunately. I have a rowing machine at home.
Oh, okay.
A love-hate relationship with it.
That's fair.
I started again this week because I know I have to do something else when I race. I can't run every day. My body won't let that happen. And I'm okay on it, especially if I do have to listen to something.
Oh, for sure.
And I have to cover up the screen. I can't look at it. I don't want it telling me that I've only been on there 4 minutes yet. So I wrote down a rowing machine. I like my bike, but I haven't ridden it in a while. When Justin trained so much, he at one point was running 80 to 100 miles a week. And when he would do long runs, I would follow him on my bike. I did that. But I like to walk and hike. That's just one of my favorites. I just do the hiking part a lot.
You mean in Mobile? You don't get to go hiking a lot in Mobile? Yeah.
Lately, so much fun, but we don't really do that as much as we used to. But we do just to walk around in town.
Yeah. There's a little bit of parkour times that you have to be in this house. What has been a race that you're like, yeah, not my favorite?
Well, that would have been the first time that I don't know what I was thinking in my head. It was not even maybe it was a year after I had quit smoking, and I was just excited. And for our anniversary, I paid for both of us to race. Me, the half, that was so stupid. Back then, I knew nothing about running. I was just like, hey, don't do this. And I paid for my husband to do our actual marathon, and that was his first one ever. And that was the year that it was so cold. I remember he had ice in his beard. What year was that? I don't even remember. Anyway, before that, my longest run had probably been 7 or 8 mile run. And I thought, I'm going to go out and do this. No, I ran for 8 of those miles somehow. I don't know how. I was miserable. Walked the next 3.2. And then that was that. I had to, this poor young guy who was probably a high school student who was at some aid station there along the way. I cried. I had to sit down. I didn't know. He was like, are you okay? I'm not okay. It's cold. My legs won't move another foot. I've told people, I was like, if someone would have come up with a check and said $1 million, go finish it. I couldn't have walked to finish.
Wow.
I had to get driven to the finish line. I didn't get my little medal, and I had to be wrapped up and wait for Justin to come through and finish his marathon. And so he did really well, and I was super proud of him. That was his first one, and that was his first bout into really starting to train. And I don't know what I was thinking. I'm glad it happened, because now I understand when things happen to other people, how it happens. Your body can only think so much if you don't train it the proper way. And that's what happened. My body told me no. We're done.
Wow. Would you ever consider doing that? You have done that race again. Okay.
And that's why I felt so much better the last time, because I didn't race it, but I was able to run without stopping. Even took my phone out of my back pocket and changed my music while I was running.
Wow.
So I was pleased to do that again. I do want to do that one another time after I've been able to actually train. I want to see if I can run it faster.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. I'm sure at the beginning of this season, when you have new students come in, new athletes, what is a piece of advice that you give them? So when they come to you, they're like, Coach, like, I want to do this, but I don't know that I can. What is something that you like to tell them?
I always tell them that if I can do it, and I do tell them my story, but I also tell them to don't make their decision the first week. We have summer training for the new kids. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And we try to meet at various places around Mobile, because during the school year, we're stuck at Davidson, and there's not many places that are safe to go run. But dogs, it's a really big issue. You try to run into a neighborhood, you're going to encounter dogs. I tell them, you think we can't do this, but let's not even talk about this again until next Monday. Because the thing is, by then, they will have experienced 3 different running locations, 3 separate experiences, all the kids coming, and they're seeing other people struggle as well, but they're also seeing kids who are doing well who struggled. We tell all of our stories. Kids come out who they'll tell you, I just never thought I would do this, and now look at me, I'm running 4 miles easily.
I love that.
So, yeah, it's a big sharing environment. And then again, it's still not going to be for some people, but most of them, they'll stay through that first week and then make their decision. Because you can't do something really hard and then make a decision based on that one moment. We would probably won't give up easily.
Yeah. I love how your students that are returners come and they share that advice. They share their story. I love that.
They are. And it's just part of positive proof. That's what we were talking about the other day. Cross country, if you ever go to a cross country race, everyone there is just cheering on everyone. Your other athletes, your other coaches, the parents of other teams. They are just cheering on all the kids, and it just feels good.
Yeah.
So especially for someone who doesn't know if they're going to ever be a strong runner, it feels good to have people there and supporting them. So, good environment.
So good. What are your goals, my friend? Besides running faster for the Mobile Half, what are some other goals you got?
I have a personal goal I've had for a while.
Okay.
I know I can do it. I just have to make myself. I want to, and I don't know why this is the number.
Okay.
I want to run 16 miles without stopping, and all I've done is 13.1. So
I love how you're like, I've only done 13.1.
I never see myself running a marathon. The 26.2, that's not for me, I don't think. I think half is where it's at. But I want to know that I can just go out for a 15-mile run And I keep telling myself, look, I have tattoos. I love them, but there's one I really want to get, but I won't let myself until I run 15 miles. So I've been wanting it for a really long time. And I know I can run 15 miles. I just have to start over every year. So hopefully, I feel good starting right now. Hopefully by January, February, that will happen.
Wow.
That's my goal for myself. My goal for my team is to keep growing things. We've gotten it to a point where it's a program. We've got a lot of seniors who are leaving and they say these things. What are you going to do without us? And you're right. What am I going to do without them? Because man, they're so great. But at the same time, like I told them, if the program is built the right way, it will continue to feed itself and we will continue to grow and run the program. And it's going to be great. So I'm hoping for that continuation of a really strong program. We did some really cool things in track this season that Davidson hasn't seen in years. Because I coach track, I coach by 400 and above.
Okay.
And we had a 4x18 that we've been working on for a couple of years now. And man, they went out and they were county champions. They were section champions. And our team just won the whole section meet, which I don't think has been done in 30 years.
Wow.
So our entire track and field team blew everybody away, and all the other coaches are looking around, and I think we were in shock and they were in shock. But that one day, all of our athletes came together and did their job the best they knew how to do it, and it just all worked that day. So it's really fun to see when everything comes together and works. So I want to keep building. That's my goals for my team.
I love that. Oh, wow. Can I come join the cross country track team?
Yes. And
wow. I love that.
Anytime we do our runs, we can all run almost every Saturday in the summer.
That's a fabulous.
Yes.
I love that. Oh man. Where were you when I was like, I love that. Is there a mantra, something that you say to yourself when you do want to quit?
It's not so much when I want to quit, because normally if I start, I'm going to keep going. But what I like to say to myself and to my athletes is listen to your body, because I feel like I'm very in tune with my body, and it's going to tell me. It's going to tell me what I need more of, what I need to keep going. And so I feel like if people will just start to listen to their bodies, because there are some days where the training plan might say, today you have 30 minutes recovery because you had a giant workout yesterday. Well, your recovery might not need to be get away. You just need to go chill out and do your homework for a little bit and recover that way. And so I feel like it's not a way to make excuses, but when people really do hold themselves accountable and listen to their bodies, that's when you see them become more productive athletes, I think.
That's good. Wow. I like it. What has been your favorite length to run in a training program or for a race?
I like the longer the distance, the better, as long as I feel strong.
Okay.
I don't think a 5K is for me, but I run them because my kids will run them and I'm supposed to be fast in it and I can't see. So when I was able to run a 10K, I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I ran the 10 miler as the church 10 miler. And look, I know this woman because I know her face and I don't know her name. She is an older lady. She's got to be in her 70s. And how she is always faster than me. I just don't know, but I remember just watching her and I'm just running.
Yeah.
I'm in this 10-mile run and I'm just watching her and I'm just trying real hard to catch up to her and I just never could. It's like this woman was on a hoverboard or something. And she was just going and gliding. And good for her because man, what she has done to do that. And so it was nice. I just kept running behind her. I was like, I'm going to get her one day. But I enjoyed that. And then I enjoyed the half marathon as well because I like to be by myself, but not by myself. And I feel like in a race, you're alone, but surrounded by so many people. And I like that feeling. It's a really good feeling.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. When you're not running, not coaching, what fuels you? What are you passionate about?
I love to eat.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And so every break I get, I try to bake something new. My latest thing is breads. I made a pumpkin-roll bread over spring break.
Okay.
It's really good. I learned last year over Mardi Gras break how to make a king cake, and then I made it better this year.
I'm totally coming to your house during Mardi Gras. I'm a sucker for king cake.
Baking makes me happy, but I don't get to do it as frequently.
Sure.
For the summertime, I work on some new stuff, and then anytime I go to family's house or whatever, they ask me what dessert I'm making. So I make a really good cheesecake. I make a really good German chocolate cake.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
I was like, now I'm really hungry.
It's so much fun. It smells so good when you bake bread.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't bake, but I do like candles that smell like food. So that what
You're hungry all the time.
Right. Any final words of wisdom, my friend?
So I thought about this one. And so there's this thing I always put next week. I do have the parent meeting at the beginning of each cross country season. And I always put the same words at the top and I talk about them. And I don't think the kids let them soak in. So I say them a couple of different ways. There are words from Archelaus, and he said, we don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training. And what I want my athletes to get from that, and what I want to remember always, is that you can want something really badly. You can want it. You can say it. You can say, I'm going to go out and break 17 this year. You can say all of that's going to happen. But if you're not willing to put in the work, even on the days that you feel bad, it's probably not going to happen. And so I try to be really realistic with my kids. And I've had kids ask me if I think they can do this. Do you think I can do this? And my response is always, I do think you can do this if you can do 1, 2, and 3. I do think this is a realistic goal if you're training in this way. But if you're going to cherry pick your training and you're going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to run today because nobody else is going to be there, or I only like speed workouts because speed workouts do nothing for you if you haven't built your fitness. So if you cherry pick all of that, it's not all going to come together. But that's what I would say to athletes. But for everybody else, what I would say is just get up, get moving. And what I like to tell people is if you get up and you run in the morning, like we do all summer, by 9 o'clock, you've done more than almost everyone else you've done. And then you have the whole day ahead of you. You've done something great, body will be happy, and now you can spend your time however you want. So I just think people should just get up and go. You feel much better afterwards. Sometimes I have to be dragged. Justin will tell me, you're just going to feel better. Come on, let's do it. And then I do. I feel so much better.
Get up and go.
Get up and go.
Oh, thank you for what you're doing at Davidson. I'm so excited. And now I'm a super fan. Now I know Coach Guy. But seriously, I'm so excited. And just to be able to see these kids in the upcoming year and what you're doing is so inspirational. And so thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
It's been a lot of fun. I was super nervous. This is good. I like talking about running my athletes.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Don't you just love Coach Guy? She's adorable and just love her story and so encouraging. And again, so thankful for what she's doing with the running community. But let me just say this for all of the coaches around here. You guys are phenomenal human beings. And what you're doing with the future generation is epic. And I'm so grateful to know somebody like Coach Guy, Coach Brent, Coach Barry. You guys are phenomenal human beings. And I'm so grateful. And just, again, Coach Guy, you just gave it to us straight. I love that so much. And again, that great reminder that we can do more than what we think. So thank you, Coach Guy, so much for your story and for what you're doing at Davidson and for the running community and for the future. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much. And again, huge shout out to Magnolia Soap Company for making all of this happen, not only for this month, but with Coach Guy. And so grateful for you and the team at Magnolia Soap Company. Definitely go check them out. Tell them thank you for partnering with Run Your Story. We absolutely love that. Give them a shout out here and there, guys. So very cool. Speaking of shout outs, huge shout out to Greg Gilliard at Gilliard Tech Services. He makes us all sound great and he does such a great job of keeping this podcast going and the website. You guys can also check him out at Gilliard Tech Services as well. And he can do anything from updating your current website to creating a new one. And he is now officially going to be off on summer break. So he is busy catching up with websites and meeting with clients. And so definitely check him out. Now is your time. So if you've been on the fence about it, definitely get up with him. As always, thank you so much to Mars Hill Church for giving us space to be able to share our stories, no matter how hard or how great they are. And it's always scary to sit down and to share our stories. And so thankful for Mars Hill and the belief that they have in our running community and in Run Your Story. It's absolutely amazing. To our Patreon supporters, you've made this possible, and we are so grateful for you and what you're doing. And thank you for keeping this podcast going. You are the reason why listeners get to still hear Run Your Story, because you guys have done so much for Run Your Story, and we are so grateful for all of you. And we just love you. We love, love, love our Patreon supporters. And speaking of Patreon supporters, you guys are going to want to share and like and comment. Our Patreon supporters love hearing feedback. We love being able to tell them things. And so definitely share, comment, whatever it is, guys. We absolutely love that. So make our Patreon supporters happy. We try to. So we need our listeners to do that too. And you can join the Patreon community. We're always looking at fun ways to be able to do things with our Patreon supporters and always looking for ideas. So again, huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. And again, thank you so much, Coach Guy, for sharing your run story and for what you're doing in this running community. We are so grateful for you. We're grateful for all of you that not only share your stories, but listen to the stories, because again, we love hearing how impactful, how encouraging they are, and how beautiful your stories are. And thank you for that. This is absolutely an honor to be able to share your stories. All right, guys, until next time, go run your story, because every story needs to be heard.